Hello and welcome to another Ye Olde Battle Reps Guild Ball match report. This one is going to be Blacksmiths versus Alchemists. This is the first time I've used Blacksmiths, and from left to right I've got Iron, Ferrite who's kicked off, Furnace, Cinder, Anvil and Sledge. Dan's Alchemists from left to right are Hemlock, Mercury, Compound, Narja, Smoke and Vet Catalyst. Okay, so Ferrite has kicked off as you can see, and we've allocated influence, and Dan's up first. He's able to collect the ball with Hemlock and pass it back to Mercury, successfully blind Ferrite and drop a poison on her as well. My first activation is with Anvil, who simply walks forwards and then does Strike While the Iron's Hot, I think it's called, and I dodge most of my team 2 inches towards the enemy goal, which is pretty awesome. This picture has 2 activations. The first one, Mercury goes, passes the ball to Compound and drops a fire on Anvil, and then I go with Ferrite. Don't see any way of getting the ball, so I just go after Hemlock and get a couple of, I think I get a couple of momentous guild balls on her, so disarm and possibly some damage as well. This is another picture with 2 activations, so apologies about that. First of all, Compound moves up slightly and successfully passes the ball to Narja, who dodges forwards. I then go with Cinder and try desperate hot shot tackle on Narja, which would need 3 5+s on 5 dice, and she actually gets it and then passes the ball to Iron. Dan goes next with Narja, who simply sprints towards Iron, and in the same picture I've gone with Iron. I forgot to mention earlier when Ferrite went, he did his get over here towards her, and then I think I just walk possibly up to Hemlock and do a little bit of damage to Hemlock, and then Narja Unpredictables towards Iron. Smoke goes next. She jumps to near the middle of the pitch and then she legendaries, and I think she breezes a couple of the AoEs as well, or whatever it's called. So the end result is that everyone apart from Furnace is either on fire, poisoned or both. Lovely. I go with Sledge next and just move him up, making sure that he's very close to Anvil so he gets the Sentinel aura. Catalyst goes next and just charges towards Smoke, and then in this picture as well I've gone with Furnace and just moved him up, giving Cinder the Sentinel aura bonus as well. So it's 0-0 at the end of the first turn. I take a worrying amount of damage over my whole team from a combination of the condition damage in the maintenance phase, plus Smoke's legendary did a fair bit of damage as well. So some of my players are looking a bit unhealthy already. I spent some momentum, I think, to heal, and so Dan is up quite a bit of momentum and wins the roll-off. First activation is a very simple one. Catalyst goes, charges Cinder and easily deletes her, and he's able to put a little bit of damage onto Anvil as well with his aura thing, combustion, whatever it's called. So that brings the score to 2-0 to the Alchemists. I go with Furnace, walk up to engage Veteran Catalyst, and tool up Sledge. Smoke goes next. She teleports near to Iron, tackles the ball off him, dodges away, and then just sprints towards the house there. She can't make it in range to take a shot on goal, or maybe she didn't have enough influence, but she's quite safe over there now. Here I've gone with Iron. The picture's a bit confusing until I explain what happened. I just did some attacks against Hemlock, maybe did a little bit of damage, but I don't think I was getting particularly good results because she's defense 5 and was in cover. I then did my advance, which involved touching her base to push her 2 inches away, and then Dan pointed out that if I didn't move back with my advance I could get charged by Compound, whose melee would reach over that obstacle there, so I ended up moving him back a bit to avoid that as well. Another picture with two activations. First of all, Hemlock goes. She sprints away from everyone. I think she's just outshot on the far side of the fast ground. With a combination of her healing 2 at the start of her activation and healing with momentum, brings her close to full health, which basically pretty much nullifies what I'd done with Iron over the course of 2 turns. And then I go with Anvil, walk up to Catalyst, knock him down easily, and then single him out as well. Dan just nudges Narja. I then go with Sledge. He's got pretty much perfect setup. Took a lot of setup obviously from Anvil and Furnace, but he's tooled up. The Veteran Catalyst is knocked down and singled out. And so with 3 attacks I managed to do the 25 damage that I needed to take him out. I think I did it exactly, and if I hadn't bonus timed one of the attacks I would have failed to do it, but it felt pretty awesome to do that amount of damage in 3 attacks, but obviously it takes a lot of setup. So that brings the score to 2-all and nets me a load of momentum as well. Mercury goes, drops a fire template hitting Anvil and Sledge. I think I might, I've cleared conditions at some point on them, but now they're on fire again. And then I think he fire blasts Sledge and does a bit of damage. I go with Ferrite. She's only got 2 implements on there, and I'm struggling to think of something useful to do with her this turn. In the end I sprint round to Compound and attack him once to remove Gluttonous Mass. Basically I just wanted to go and engage him to stop him from being able to countercharge potentially. Compound goes next, and I think he simply pushes Ferrite away. I forgot to mention earlier as well that Ferrite has been blinded again by Hemlock. Turn 3 now, and it's still 2-all. Here's what it looks like at the start. So I won the roll-off, and I decided I kind of need to do something about smoke. So at the moment, Veteran Catalyst, who's come back on at the back, is in range of Ferrite and could easily delete her, but he's also just in range of Sledge. So I know I have to lose one of them, so I thought the best option would probably be to try and stop the goal. And since Furnace has got a 2-inch melee, I figured he could do it, and obviously wouldn't set off her unpredictable movement. So he charges her, tackles the ball, and passes it successfully to Iron. Unfortunately, I was a bit greedy with the momentum, and I didn't dodge Iron. So he's just easy pickings then for Hemlock to, I think she blinds him, then she goes up and tackles the ball, dodges away, and passes it back to Smoke. So we're just back where we were at the start of the turn, and it's just a futile action on my part with Furnace. So need to take that into consideration in future. So next, I think I see an opening to potentially nullify Veteran Catalyst this turn, rather than consigning one of my players to certain death. So I go base to base with him with Ferrite, and I avoid a counter charge from Compound, I think, by dodging base to base. Then I attack him, obviously get the Momentous Gill Ball to disarm him, and I manage to knock him down as well. So he's not quite as threatening and is engaged base to base, so that might nullify him. Compound comes up and pushes Ferrite away from Catalyst. So next I was a bit stuck as to what to do. I don't want to go with Iron yet, and I can see that at the moment Sledge doesn't really have anything that he can do that I can see anyway, because anyone who wants to go up against, say if he went for Mercury, they're covered by Compound's countercharge. So in the end I just back him up so that he's a bit further away from Catalyst, and I've put a pile driver marker on him just in case he could use that later in the turn, I guess, because I suppose it would work if he counterattacked. Mercury goes next and just proceeds to assist his teammates in ganging up on Ferrite. He goes in and adds to the crowd outs there and sets her on fire. Obviously we've got a smoke goal coming up shortly, so I move Cinder round. Actually she didn't have enough movement to really block the goal in any way from smoke, so I should have thought of a better position for her away from the goal, but I didn't. Not sure what's going on here. I think I might have missed or messed up the pictures in the wrong order, possibly, because the last one was Cinder, and then it looks like I've gone with Iron now and just done some stuff to Hemlock, pushed her about maybe, or done a little bit of damage. I don't know why I bothered, because she's just going to heal it. But I think the next picture is going to be Narja just moving towards Iron in an annoying fashion. Yeah, there we go, called it. So then I go with Anvil and just shuffle him over towards Hemlock a little bit. So then we've got the Smoke Goal. With her Cloud Jump and Advance she can easily get to tapping range, and she scores, bringing the total to 6-2 to the Alchemists. The ball is kicked out to the centre of the pitch. Okay, so it's turn 4 now. I think I must have not mentioned Veteran Catalyst activation that turn, possibly. So maybe just did a bit of damage to Ferrite. But at the start of turn 4, Alchemists win the roll-off. I think they have a lot more momentum. And Catalyst takes out Ferrite. I don't think she had that much health left. And then he's freed up to charge Sledge, but he doesn't do that much against Sledge, fortunately. So I think Sledge has a little bit of health left. I go with Anvil, move around, pick up the ball, knock down Catalyst, and then drop the ball, and it snaps to Sledge. Okay, I think that might have been a big mistake, not going with Sledge and healing with the momentum order I got for going second. I don't know, because basically Mercury goes now in this picture. There's 2 activations. So Mercury goes and Flame Blast Sledge, and that actually takes him out. I think I just didn't think about that really. But then if I hadn't have got the ball, could someone else have got it? I'm not sure. So maybe a mistake there. And then in my activation, because the ball scatters by the terrain there, Cinder's just in range to sprint and get the ball, but she can't then do anything. Okay, so that's 2 takeouts that the Alchemists have got in fairly quick succession this turn. So that actually brings the score to 10-2 to the Alchemists now. It's suddenly snowballed in their favour, and it's looking like a pretty forlorn chance for the Blacksmiths. Hemlock goes next. She blinds Iron, and then she just sprints away and risks a parting blow because she's got Slippery, so she doesn't take any hits from him. I go with Furnace next. I tool up Iron, and then I go and attack Veteran Catalyst, so he's got a Searing Strike on him, which is -1 armour, and he's burning. And then we have Narja just being a prick as usual and getting in the way of Iron, just to make it a little bit more difficult for him to get in on Catalyst. Even though he's blinded, Iron does manage to reach Catalyst though, and does a bit of damage with tooled up, and looks like he's knocked him down, or it's possible that that Catalyst was knocked down earlier by someone else. So Smoke goes next, and with her Cloud Jump and everything she gets into base to base with Cinder, tries to tackle the ball. I didn't mention earlier, but you can see I've got Decoy up on Cinder, so that means I must have had an influence left when I got the ball. So I don't know if it would have been better just to boot the ball away towards the right hand side of the pitch, rather than keep it on her with a decoy, so that Smoke could definitely not get the ball. As it happens, due to decoy and the fact I'm in cover, Smoke doesn't manage to tackle the ball. Oh, and I just completely didn't realise or forgot that Cinder has unpredictable movement. Because as I say, it's the first time that I've used Blacksmiths, and obviously Dan didn't know that either. But if we had known, I assume, well, I guess Smoke could just move first and then Cloud Jump into base to base anyway, so it kind of didn't matter. Alchemists are up on activations, so Compound goes next. He actually leaves his position as goalie for a change and tries to get in on the action, so he just advances up towards Iron. So I believe this is the start of turn 5. I might be wrong, it might be turn 4. I've kind of lost count now. But I've brought I've brought Ferrite on the right hand side of the pitch. Sledge is out of the shot because he's so far away on the other side of the pitch, because I figure he can't do anything now and he hasn't got much health, and he's going to be too far away to reach anyone anyway. but it's not looking too good because Alchemists have won the roll-off and all they need is a takeout or a goal. So Alchemists go first. Mercury charges Cinder, and as I said, I didn't realise she had unpredictable movement. I should read the cards really, shouldn't I? He tackles the ball, passes it to Smoke, who dodges towards the goal, and I have pretty much no way of getting that ball off her because none of my people with 2-inch melee can reach her. There is one thing I can try though. Well, what I'll try and do is another hotshot tackle with Cinder, but I would need 3-4 pluses on 5 dice, and I don't get it. Looking at this picture, what seems obvious to me now would have been to try and get the ball with Ferrite, but I think she would have needed an extra influence to really do anything. She could sprint towards Smoke, and then acrobatic, tackle the ball and kick it away. But I don't see that at the time, and I just fail the hotshot tackle. So we're just biding our time till Smoke taps the ball in now. So Hemlock goes next, just moves towards the goal. I go with Iron again, and this time I finish off Catalyst. And at least that gets me a bunch of momentum and gets some more points on the board, so it's now 10-4 to the Alchemists. And then Smoke just goes, walks up to the goal, an easy tap in, she scores, and Alchemists win 12-4. So overall thoughts about that match, I really enjoyed using Blacksmiths, and I'm looking forward to trying out the second box when that comes out. I thought I did a bit better at controlling Veteran Catalyst than the last game I played with Butchers, but then again he did take out 2 players, so I can't have done that well. I don't really play enough Guild Ball at the moment to get a sense of it myself, but I've read a couple of places that Alchemists in particular are quite a hard matchup for Blacksmiths. Certainly felt that way, but then again that could just be my usual problem of playing a better player than me most of the time. But still really enjoyed them. I'm probably missing out a lot of the synergy, so if anyone has any tips, then do leave a comment below.
I mean, I've thought about this quite a bit, and the tricky part is you almost can't take any of those pieces out of there now, because each one kind of takes you to the next place, and you can't jump.
I don't think Dan needs any tips really. So yeah, I think that's about it. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you next time.